The road to the Crimson Haven Hotel was long and winding, cutting through the dense jungle of the Congolese wilderness. A towering beacon of luxury in a forgotten land, it stood on the outskirts of Kinshasa, offering five-star accommodation, exquisite cuisines, and the promise of peace away from the chaos of the city. But beneath its golden chandeliers and marble floors, darkness lurked. Michael Carter, a British journalist, arrived in Kinshasa on an investigative mission. Rumors had surfaced about unexplained disappearances of tourists visiting the Crimson Haven. Reports from locals whispered of guests checking in but never checking out. Driven by an insatiable hunger for the truth, Michael booked a 3-night stay. From the moment he entered the lobby, he felt an eerie silence behind the warmth of the receptionist's smiles. Madame Lemba, the hotel manager, welcomed him personally, her piercing eyes scanning him as if assessing more than just a guest's needs. That evening, as Michael dined alone in the extravagant restaurant, he observed the guests around him. A young American couple celebrating their honeymoon. A lone businessman, typing furiously on his laptop. A French backpacker sipping red wine. They all appeared unaware of the impending doom. By morning, the French backpacker was gone. Michael asked at the reception if he had checked out, but the staff dodged his questions with polite yet vague answers. He began investigating. Speaking with the hotel housekeepers, he heard whispers of a basement level, a floor not listed in the hotel's plans. Driven by suspicion, Michael sneaked into the security room that night. As he scrolled through the surveillance footage, his stomach turned. The backpacker had never left the hotel. Instead, at 2 a.m., 2 men in white coats had entered his room. The footage after that was missing. Fear clawed at Michael's chest. Something was very wrong. Determined to uncover the truth, Michael made his way down a hidden stairwell behind the kitchen. The air turned thick with decay as he reached the basement. Rows of metal tables lined the dimly lit room, each occupied by pale, lifeless bodies missing their organs. A metallic clang startled him. The businessman from the restaurant was strapped to a table, unconscious, as 2 masked surgeons methodically removed his kidney. Blood trickled down the floor into a nearby drain. Michael clamped a hand over his mouth, bile rising in his throat. He reached for his camera but stumbled backward, knocking over a tray of surgical tools. The surgeons froze. An alarm blared. Michael ran. His heartbeat roared in his ears as he sprinted up the stairs, past the kitchens, and through the grand halls. Staff members emerged, their polite facades melting into hostile glares. Madame Lemba stood at the entrance, blocking his way. "You should have enjoyed your stay, Mr. Carter," she murmured. The doors burst open. The American couple, unaware of the horror, stood frozen at the entrance. "Run!" Michael screamed. Gunfire erupted. The Americans bolted into the night while Michael dived behind a pillar. A bullet grazed his arm. Pain seared through him, but adrenaline kept him moving. He had to expose them. Michael sprinted into the jungle, branches tearing at his skin. He could hear footsteps behind him, closing in. His vision blurred from blood loss. Then, headlights. A vehicle. Salvation. He stumbled onto the road, waving frantically. The car screeched to a halt. Relief flooded him as he recognized the driver, It was the honeymoon couple's taxi driver from the airport. He collapsed into the seat. "Drive. They're after me." The driver turned, his face impassive. The last thing Michael saw was the cold reflection of a syringe before everything went black. Madame Lemba watched as Michael's body was wheeled into the operating room. Another foreigner. Another sacrifice to the trade. The Crimson Haven thrived not on hospitality, but on the price of human flesh. And business, as always, was good. Kindly like, comment, share and subscribe. The end.